Hey, what's up guys, Diplexheated here again. Welcome back to Men of War Assault Squad 2 and Rob's Realism mod. Hope you've had a good week so far. I myself am doing pretty well actually. This is the third video I'm uploading from my new office, but it's practically the second one I'm recording using my voice and all that. And I gotta say, the first video turned out pretty good in terms of video and audio quality, despite the new setting, all the new settings and software, and the new setting as in the new place I'm in. I don't know the acoustics of this room and everything, so that's all good. No complaints over on the YouTube comment section for that video, so that's all good. Today we're on this beautiful map made by Lord Dissicus. It is indeed Alexandria, and this is a humongous map. It's absolutely mind-blowing huge. I think the very scene we're using is big. Like, this is above average, right? It's gonna sound weird anyway I put it, but for my videos it's above average, right? And we're using like less than a fifth of the map. It's insane, so be sure to check it out over on the Steam Workshop. Like, there's a lot to see here, right? So Alexandria is a coastal city, so for this battle it's primarily going to be an amphibious assault. I'm very excited for that. It's going to be mixed land and sea, no air today because, well, I didn't get to that. And besides, air is very limited in Men of War. They do air better in Call to Arms because of all the helicopters and the jet fighters and whatnot, but in Men of War, airplanes are purely an effect, in my opinion. Some mods try and, bring air into multiplayer battles and all that, and that is pretty cool, but nothing that I'm really too comfortable using, to be honest. So, this is the city, and of course, this is an unhistorical battle. It's a plausible one. Say, what if the Germans and Germans in the Africa Corps, rather, and the Italians, that's what I was gonna say, what if they made it further east into British-owned Egypt and laid siege to the city? So this is like sometime in 1943, obviously. It would take them some more time to fight their way there, but it's a stunning map. Now, it doesn't have that super hardcore realistic feel. Not a lot of new objects being used. It's got that vanilla Men of War look to it in terms of the level of detail. But do keep in mind that if you made this map the way the Tannenberg map was made in terms of the detail and realism, it would be impossible to run. The size of this map is just huge. I can't really fathom it all. Fathom it. Sometimes I get used to using words and then sometimes I bring them up and I don't even remember how to pronounce them. Can you fathom that? Sometimes they just sound wrong. It's a word you've used a million times and then you say it another time and it just, for some reason, your mind forgot what it sounded like. And you think it sounds weird. Fathom it. Can you fathom that? Anyway, guys, let's get the battle started. I'm hella excited for this one. So, as I said, primarily amphibious assaults. We're going to have Italians landing here. We're going to have Italians landing here. We're going to have Italians landing a-ba-ba-de-boopity-boopoo everywhere, even here. So that's cool. And not only just Italians, rest assured, Italian Marines. So they should be packing some heat. We've also got German troops from the Africa Corps to kick things off. I've given them the German pith helmet, which was historically used, but I don't think I've ever equipped German troops with it before. So, I mean, if we get down into the detail and see some pith helmets, that would be cool as well. They've got that very colonial African feel to it. So, that's all nice. Yeah, without further ado, guys, let's get the battle started. I know we didn't really take a look at the British defenses, so we're going to do that just quickly now. They've set up this ad hoc defense outside the city gates. We have some different tanks here, a Churchill, 2 cruiser tanks, one on the high ground here to the left, and one here on the field to the right. We have some hastily made trenches, a few machine gun positions. The walls themselves further back there are proper medieval style defenses. We've got artillery, mortars, I mean that's technically artillery, but direct and indirect fire, as well as infantry, 20mm autocannons and everything. It's gonna be insane. But I think the most exciting part of today's battle is going to be the amphibious part, which should be happening fairly soon. But here comes the frontal force, or the what do you call it? The not the rear guard, of course, but the assault, the front guard. I don't know what you call that. The spearhead, the frontal units, the very tip of the attack. And we're gonna see a variety of Panzer IVs, some early models. that were used by the Africa Corps in low numbers, but since this is a unhistorical scenario that is taking place after further into the years and the year of 1943, then of course they would have more of these available. German Africa Corps soldiers dismounted, now fighting what is apparently some sort of a scout unit here of the British Desert Rats. There's just a squad of troops in this village here, just doing some preliminary scouting and also sending the information down the line to the defenses further back. So it's a pretty quiet start. The armor is taking it slow. Some additional infantry has been dismounted. So this is a pretty narrow path, and the British have all their focus pointed at it, so it looks like the German armor is going to head off-road, head up the hill, and start engaging that British armor further back. Oh, the landing party has begun. The first Italian assault crafts are now hitting the beach, and further back we actually have a German light destroyer, or this could be, I don't know if it's considered a patrol boat of some sort, but it's not a cruiser, it's not a light cruiser. I believe that's a destroyer, but I'm not sure if it's big enough to be considered one. But anyway, it's here. The Italian Marines have landed. They're getting geared up now, and they are committing to the assault. We have some British troops with the focus on this beach. They knew the Italians were going to land here, so they are going to engage each other now. It's really cool that I have access to some of these naval units. We've seen the American LCS, the Landing Craft Support Ship, be used in a few previous videos, primarily the Nantuna series. But this is the first time I'm making use of this German vessel, and it's pretty awesome. It has a variety of weapons. It's got 2 flaks. It's got 2, I think, 76mm guns, could be 88s as well. A few 20 mils too. It's just a nice vessel. It's a moving fortress to some extent. I love it with all the static weapons on it. It's going to support the Italian Marines. I do believe we have a landing happening here on the opposite side with additional German naval support. A Tiger has arrived as well. It took a left after the road. Oh, and it's now engaging that Churchill out in the center. It should be an easy match for the Tiger. But here comes the first Italian landing party on the opposite side. Italian Marines disembarking now, taking immediate fire from the British defenders by the port. That's pretty awesome. I love these amphibious assaults. We're going to have, I don't know, close to 400 men landing today. So that's pretty insane. Okay, so it looks like both British tanks, no, they've been disabled in terms of tracks, but that Churchill is still active. It's receiving support from the artillery up on the walls as well. We've got a lot of infantry up here, mortars, and some, I do believe, 3-pounder fort guns. It's called the QF3, so that should be the caliber, so to speak. pretty cool to see the incoming flak fire from that quad, 20 mil in the rear, engaging the British defenders on top of the fort. Now the Italian Marines are starting to attack the side entrance of the fort itself. We've got a lot of British troops up on the wall and by the gatehouse itself, holding the attackers back so far. But this is turning out to be a pretty chaotic fight. How's it going over here? So far, so good. A third Italian landing party has just arrived. So, I mean, we're talking hundreds and hundreds of Italian Marines. Oh, there goes a huge part of the wall. Could be the gatehouse as well. Oh, 20 mil picking off the Italian troops in this far right landing craft. That's a pretty nasty way to go. Okay, that German ship is moving up to support the infantry. Flak is going to engage the British troops up on the wall. Oh, they're even... Holy shit. It even engaged the tower back here. I don't think there was any British troops in it. It could have fired at some of the troops on the wall and, like, overshot them and hit the tower behind it. So that was pretty cool. Tiger moving up now with infantry. So the Italians are the primary infantry nationality today, and the armor and mechanized units are German in this case. And they've gotten themselves a nice entrance here on the left side. The main entrance is still heavily defended. The attackers are taking heavy fire from all sides. And there are even British troops fighting outside the walls still. That's pretty impressive. So they're holding the Italians and Germans back from the first attack, or the first wave. I don't think there are many surviving Italians from this landing party. It looks pretty quiet down here by the grape fields, or whatever you want to call it, the vineyards, I suppose. I'm not sure if you call this the vineyard, or isn't it just the vines, or the plantation, the grape plantation essentially? A vineyard, isn't that the entire place? You know, the manor and the buildings that go along with the wine production. I'm sure these are just called grape fields, or I don't know. Someone do enlighten me, please, if you know. It's I suppose a rather weird set of knowledge, but anyway. Oh. Still have a lot of defenders here by the main entrance. One Italian tried breaking through, but he was shot dead instantly. Looks like most of the Marines are hugging the wall right now. It's the safest there, away from the beachhead, which is just a kill zone. Some are even trying to make it up here, and they are also being shot dead by the defenders up on the wall. Let's move over to the left side again, see how they're doing here. Tiger is stationed outside. It's not really moving in yet. It could be too tight for it to breach. We have Marines and British regulars fighting, throwing grenades back and forth. Some seem to be bouncing down. Oh. Few Italians trying to push up. Grenades are still being thrown. They're being thrown back down at the Italians, throwing them, resulting in their death. So it's come to a bit of a standstill here on the left side. The Tiger will not move in, and the Italian Marines do seem hesitant, to say the least. We have another Panzer IV back here, and a BTR that is just providing some MG support. It has, however, lost its engine, so it's going to remain static there, but it seems to be in a pretty favorable position so far. Over here on the right, once again, this Italian landing party, consisting of roughly 120 men or so, seems to have been knocked out. There's just a squad remaining or so. They're trying to move up in the open, but they will be most likely shot dead by the British troops up on the wall. So that's a no-go. Over here on the right side, some are trying to make it up towards the main entrance. They too are taking lots of fire. There are still plenty of British defenders with the ability to fire at said Italians. However, there's a... Oh, that's like a ricer out on the street. For those of you who don't know what a ricer is, it's like a Japanese car that sounds loud, but it's pretty funky and chunky and kind of crappy in many ways. But yeah, anyway, it sounded like a ricer exhaust. I don't know. You say ricer, is that a bad slang for it, or is it just an acceptable name for said cars? Maybe I should call it a I don't know. Anyway, it's beyond the point. I can hear a lot of the traffic outside at times, so it's not that isolated in terms of the sound. But anyway, these guys, this is about a platoon. They might just crack this nut here on the right side. They're not... I don't think they're going to use the main entrance. I think they're discussing it among themselves right now. Should we go to the left? Should we go to the right? How should we enter? Oh, they seem to be heading left now. They're like one they're like one single entity right now. They're acting as a group. Or will they go right? I don't know. It's like a flock of birds. No, they go where the majority goes. They're definitely discussing it. You can tell. You can hear it. We're going to find out soon. I'm pretty sure they're going to act sooner or later. Oh. German support ship still engaging. And do let me know what class this would be. Patrol cruiser of some sort. I know a patrol boat. I mean, it looks big for that. But essentially, that would be the role. I mean, it's not a destroyer. Is it? It's not even a light cruiser. Or is it a light cruiser? I always thought the destroyers were the smallest, and then you had like the cruisers, but you also have light cruisers and heavy cruisers. So I don't know. But it's a ship. It's got a decent amount of armament. It can definitely handle some ship-to-ship combat, for sure. But in my opinion, this is a perfect close naval support ship for some coastal action, especially in this case where you don't want to put a big battleship here. I mean, if this map was bigger, or if I extended the skybox and we had it all the way out there, that would make sense. But I don't know if it could range the walls. I'd have to do some serious editing of the various files in the mod. But yeah, some battleship support really far away from the coast would be awesome. One Italian soldier seems to have found a solution to this problem. He is running around. He's making a difference here. Oh, he's definitely found something here. There's another entrance to the right. Oh, and he's... Oh! Not sure what's going on, but his discovery has caused a bit of a reaction here to the rest of the platoon, and they are following suit. So the Italians have found a second entrance right now, and that might be trouble for the British defenders here. We'll see later on how it develops. Let's have a look here on the left side. Grenades are still being traded back and forth. They don't seem to be making much of a difference here. They're definitely not going to breach. The British are at a numerical superiority. They have this entrance covered by infantry down the side there. Oh, there's still a trade of fire from the MG half-track further back. But most Axis forces are now by the walls, trying to make an entrance. This is going to be a tedious process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just grab these guys. I'm going to send them up in a big group over here. This should encourage them to move in. We don't want to spend just minutes waiting for them to do something. They have, after all, found the entrance, so let's just make them act on it. Yeah, let's send them in right there. Come on. Go, 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 go. And this final group, let's get it sent in as well. And we can enjoy some pretty awesome close-quarter fighting. It's not over yet, guys. The Italians could very well take the city. or the outer walls. There we go. I still can't zoom in any further, guys. I'm very sorry about that. My mouse wheel is still broken. I still haven't received my new mouse. I know I said I was going to go get it, but there's some problem with my card right now, so I can't go purchase it. I think there's something just malfunction with it. Okay, the Brits are holding it down so far. The Italians have some cover, but they only really have one way in, and it's in between these buildings. They can't really flank around. They could go up the wall, as one person did, but he was shot dead just above the stairs. There's a lot of automatic fire being pointed in this direction right now. It's a pretty cool fight, but it's definitely fading out, guys. I think the majority of the fighting is over. How's it looking on this side? These guys are just like, yeah, they're leaving. They're walking away. I don't think they're going to breach anytime soon. The Tiger isn't really going to make much of a difference either. Guys, let's have a look at casualties while we're at it, because I think it's a pretty packed fight, or it's a pretty packed battlefield, one could say. Look at this guy. The amount of fire he's taking right now. Oh, and he's shot dead. That just shows you how many British troops are still alive defending the fortress. There's a mortar here, whom I don't think can fire at the Italians. They are too close to the wall. It's like a firing straight up in the air, and it could cost the death of friendly soldiers. But anyway, guys, we're going to mark the British casualties in yellow and the Italian and German casualties in red. You can tell that close to 100 men have died here around this house, where only about half a dozen of British defenders died. So that's a big and great trade for the defenders. Over here, a lot of the German Africa Corps troops were killed trying to take the city. Of course, I think they were killed by the defenders in the trenches here, whom they also lost attackers in trying to take. The landing over here by the swamps, or whatever you want to call this, were quite limited. The far left landing craft lost about half of its crew, about a third maybe, but that's about it, or its passengers to be exact. Plenty of Italians dead here by the walls. I mean, this breach here killed plenty, and they gave up after losing about a dozen men trying to push in. Plenty have been killed here by the walls in a grenade trade-off, I do presume. We've got a lot of the British killed outside here because they did sally out to attack the attacker, but that didn't really work out for him, so I'm not sure what happened there. Here's just a trail of dead Italians trying to make it up from this landing beach, or this beachhead. This far-right landing craft lost about the same number, about half of its passengers to that British Mk-10, I do believe, and that was devastating as well. And plenty of people died up here on the high grounds, or by these vineyards, or whatever you want to call them. So the British are in absolute control still. The Italians are trying to breach here, but that's not resulting in anything good for them. They're just taking casualties upon casualties. The walls are British, the streets are British. Alexandria remains under the British flag, who is still magically, mysteriously flying the colors over the city. But this tower took some fire from this vessel back here, and that was pretty interesting. I think this is called, like, I'm not going to try and pronounce it, but it's a Merzug. What's it called? Let's find out. Can I click it? It is. The unit is called the it's a Meerschweckboot MZ1. Meerschweck. I'm not sure what that is. Never heard that before. But guys, thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed this battle. I will see you guys soon again. This was cool. I like landing crafts. I want to see more Italian Marines. Maybe we can make some German Kriegsmarines as well and use them for some amphibious assaults. And, yeah, use more of these support ships. This is awesome. You guys, we could probably do a naval battle. I'm not sure how cool it would be to just have these ships fighting the American. I want to spawn it just to show you guys which one I'm talking about. We've used it before. You will recognize it. It is the LCS-13, or the LCS-I3, or L3 or something. I think it's the L3. Similar armament, okay? We've got the... This is a 76 Mk-10 in the front, okay? And the Germans have the 88 pack, so it was indeed an 88 as I thought, but the Americans have one of those. They've got more 20 mils than the Germans have, and they also have some pretty thick 40 mils Mk1 twin guns here that could definitely dismount the armaments of this. Yeah, they're about the same size, probably the same ship class as well. So I guess this could be some kind of a support ship too. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Naval battle, yes or no? I don't know, guys. One more thing, I will not turn this into a cinematic slide like I did with the previous battle. It's simply too big. There's too many things happening at once, so I won't be able to catch it. And it doesn't have that cinematic feel to it. The map, the other one had a very streamlined battle where the units moved up in one direction, and it really worked for that kind of slide. So that's why I did that, and hopefully you guys thought that was cool. I might do that for some future line defense videos, but this isn't really a line defense, so it's more difficult to do so. But yeah, and also these are, let's see what these are. So 47mm Vickers. I'm pretty sure that's a 3-pounder. It says it's called the QF3. Yeah, it's a QF3 pounder, so I was right. Very cool gun to use on a fort like this. Never used it before. Now they're throwing fucking grenades and mortars, and people are burning, and it's just a mess. Guys, the British held it. And you know what? For a second there, I thought the Italians and Germans would take it. They very well could have, but in this case, they didn't. It's nice to make a battle that is unhistorical, because guess what? The winner don't matter. I'm always pressured to have a realistic outcome in an historical battle, but when you make these, you can just relax and just enjoy them. And it works either who wins or loses. It's good. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys soon again. Ciao.